and I can only show you borehole.
It's politics.
For me, it is what I call Iberberism. I beg your pardon. Go and search for it, my friend.
It's current affairs.
4 years course, metamorphosing into 6 years.
And news that
Affects you.
What an academic academic yo in their leadership rococo, leadership brababare.
It's all the serious stuff.
But with a light-hearted twist.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Aghogho.
Join us 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday
Right here.
on Hard Facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. Our first hard fact of the day: President Buhari has said all Africans coming to Nigeria from next year will get visa on arrival. So now Africans won't need visas to come here. They can just get on a plane or a ship or a bus, and when they get to Nigeria, an immigration official will stamp their passport with a visa. The idea is to encourage Africans to come to Nigeria for business and tourism. Very different from keeping our borders closed, eh? Well, on Hard Fact, here we are consistent. I always bring you the best insights into today's most important topics. I break them down, I give you the facts so that you can form an informed opinion. Any show you miss from this week, you can catch online. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Twitter is also Nigeria Info FM. And visit our website where we have so many news stories, nigeriainfo.fm. We have a great show for you today. We're starting with the big three: electricity workers and strike. Let's look at that story. More than half of Nigeria's children have not had their births registered. The births of more than half of Nigeria's children has not been registered. Malami says federal government is going to probe the arrest of Showore inside the courtroom by the SSS. It's Thursday, so we're bringing you Eyewitness as usual. This is where we let you take over. You turn our spotlights to the stories in your area that you believe should be making the news. We have a story from one of you today about the problems that the airport seems to be creating for airport for drivers who work with ride-hailing apps. So there's some problems at the airport between airport taxis and drivers of ride-hailing apps. We're going to have that conversation at 4 o'clock. Earlier this week, somebody put up a sign that FAN had banned ride-hailing apps from picking up passengers at the airport, and the drivers are complaining about harassment. So we'll talk to one of the people who put that up on social media. On the Big Hard Fact, we're going to be looking at the ongoing United Nations Convention on Climate Change, also known as COP25. We're going to bring it home. We'll talk about how climate change affects all of us, right? All the time you're hearing climate change. And you're probably like, oh, it's not my business, it's not my problem. So let's talk about how it's your business, how it's your problem, right? But we're also going to talk about how the policies and solutions that are currently being discussed at this conference can and will affect you and I. And then we're going to wrap up the show with listed Lagosian. Richie Bakara Yusuf is going to be interviewing Benga Adeyinka. He's a comedian. You know him. You love him. You've been following his work for years. And today he'll be telling you about his Lagos. As usual, throughout the show, we're bringing you the latest updates from the world of news, sports, and entertainment. But let's get started with the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the big three stories that everybody's talking about right now. Do you have light yet? I wonder. Everyone's asking that question. And is your employer paying into your pension fund? That's a bigger question. Did you have your children's births registered? How much faith do you have in the federal government to probe the SSS? Huge question I'm asking on the big three today. The strike is over. The National Union of Electricity Employees, NUI, has called off their nationwide strike 1 day after it started. The union said it is ending the strike because government officials finally met with them and gave them assurances about their demands. The union went on strike over various issues relating to employment conditions, salaries, pensions, other entitlements. And these include alleged refusal by some discos to remit deducted contributory pension payments to their workers' pension fund administrators or PFAs, alleged unpaid benefits to over 2,000 disengaged staff of the defunct power holding company, PHCN, since 2013, alleged underpayment of over 50,000 ex-PHCN staff, and alleged payment of half salaries to workers by discos. The union listed these grievances in a 21-day ultimatum which expired day before yesterday. When they received no response from government, discos, gencos, or the regulator NERC, they started the strike. Yesterday, the National Assembly summoned various ministers and urged them to engage with the union. So first of all, do you have light? That's the question. Do you have light yet? Because I didn't have power. I didn't have power at all throughout yesterday. Well, I had a power in the morning, and then it went out. And by the time I was coming to work this morning, there was no power. And this probably sounds like Christmas for those of you who live in places that haven't had power in months, in 6 months or 7 or 10. You know, it's not funny. It's not a funny situation. But for people who have light, do you have light yet? I saw a tweet from the EKDC saying that it will take some time for power to come back because right now they're having to re-energize the national grid. Basically, the entire grid shut down during the strike because there was no staff in any of the various offices and plants and stations. What happened yesterday was actually a very big deal. Very big. And when I look at this story, here's what jumps out. Government did not say a word to the unions for 21 days. The NUEE gave government 3 whole weeks to take action, and nothing happened. And so they went on strike. And just 1 day into the strike, government comes running to answer them. And all it took for them to end the strike was for government to make them some promises. Promises! So basically, if government had made those promises 21 days ago, there probably would not have been a strike. We probably would all have light right now. Well, not all. We know, how this light matter day. But still, it did not need to get to this point. And it makes me wonder why. Why did government wait for the strike? Were they calling the bluff of the NUEE? And then you look at the reasons that the NUEE went on strike. They're saying that some of the discos have been paying them half salary. Half. And that the discos are deducting money from their salaries for pensions, but not giving the money to the PFAs, the pension fund administrators. Now, both these actions, if they are true, are offenses. Should the NUEE have gone on strike? Should they have had to go on strike before action was taken? We hear stories like this all the time. Lots of Nigerians have simply gotten used to unpaid salary. And so half salary save, okay. But it's really not okay. Which is why I'm asking you, why do you think government waited for this strike before talking to the union? Why is failure to pay salaries so common? Why is it not punished by government? Where do you work? Are you owed salaries? Is your company contributing to your pension fund? Give me a call and let me know. If you don't want to say your name or where you work, that's fine. You can be anonymous. 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. These are our studio numbers. Let's hear from you. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Can you hear me, Sandra?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
If you can hear me, yes, I would like to remain anonymous.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I work with an IT firm.
Okay.
And I discovered something a while ago.
Okay.
I discovered that our pensions were being collected but not remitted. I took up a colleague of mine on this, and blah, 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 said one or two things. A friend of ours left the company and went to another company. And he wrote mails and mails and mails and mails. They never responded. So these things, they happen everywhere. The companies are kind of insensitive to the plight of people. And I feel sometimes it takes effort until when they hear lawyers are coming and so and so. That's where they start running here and there. Just like there's something that happens in terms of light now. It's until people shut down totally. That is when people tend to respond. Let me end it here because I'm not hearing you, but I know you're hearing me because I'm watching online.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling to share that with us. Now, I do not know if there's somebody that we can report to, when an organization you're working for isn't paying you pensions. But I know this, they're supposed to pay your pensions. If it's getting deducted, you're supposed to be getting that alert, tintim every month of money entering your pension. Your pension fund, it's supposed to be going in there. So if you're not getting that alert, someone's stealing your money. Now, I know that there are regulators, but I'm not sure who the regulators are and what the process of alerting them is. Hello.
Auntie Sandra.
Welcome. What's your name?
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. What's your name?
I greet you, my sister.
I greet you as well. Go ahead.
Please, I don't know. I have this question for you.
Okay.
Do you have anyone in Canada?
No.
It's true. The system is not working here. I want to go there with my family. See, I'm above 40.
Okay.
And I know maybe in the next 30 or 40 years, I will leave this world. And if I get to heaven, they won't ask, which country are you from? Let me enjoy the rest 30 or 40 years outside this country, which are doing better, far better.
If you want to go to Canada, now is the time to go because, the older you are, the harder it is to go.
Please tell me the procedure. Be cool.
Go online. Go to Google. Go Google it.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling me. Hello.
President Sandra.
Hi. Good to have you on the show, Christopher.
Yeah, me, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, good.
This is whether they like it or not. The good time is coming. And God will stay our life to enjoy the good time. These people that went on strike, these Nepal people, when they were dining with the government then, when Ayuba Mwaba and the other group were calling for strike, they didn't join, no. I said it, oh boy, if I use long spoon, dine with these people, But no, he decided to go with the government people, abandon the other Ayuba Mwaba set. Thank God, Ayuba fight and he succeeded in getting the minimum whatever. Now, they go for strike for how many days did you call it? They did not answer them until they go for this one-day strike. Why did they call it? It should remain there now. They call up the strike since morning. Still, we don't have light.
You don't have light.
As I'm telling you, we are running on gens.
Well, EKDC says it might take a while for things to come back up because everybody did not show up to work. So those that were supposed to work the national grid did not work the national grid. So what happened yesterday was actually a very big something.
I'm happy with what happened to them as they didn't answer them. It's good.
Christopher, thanks for calling me. Okay, that's a bit of Schadenfreude over there. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and take more of your calls. And yes, when we move on to the second story, you can still you can still talk about the first story after this break. You're listening to Sandra Ezekwesili on Hard Facts. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Stay right here on the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three
The Big Three on Hard Facts.
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
On the Big Three today, we're telling you stories about the power companies that went on strike. Electricity workers ended their strike today. More than half of Nigeria's children have not had their date of birth registered. And I wonder, is your child one of those? Only 43% of Nigerian children were registered at birth. The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, made the announcement based on data collected last year. According to UNICEF, 17 million children in this country do not have an official birth record. It's not all bad news, though, since that figure is actually up from 30% in 2013. UNICEF says the increase is mostly caused by policy changes that include birth registration when children receive medical care in public healthcare facilities. UNICEF also identified some key reasons for the low birth registration rate in Nigeria. They include a clash between federal and state birth registration programs, a shortage of birth registers, lack of public awareness on the importance of birth registration, and certain cultural beliefs that discourage birth registration. This is actually a very serious problem. When children are not registered when they are born, the government basically does not know that these children exist. Listen, you cannot plan for somebody that you don't know is there. You cannot allocate resources for everybody if you have not counted everybody. When you go to developed countries, like for example the United States, I know they're not our mates, I know, let's move on. But when you go to countries like that, they have a census every 10 years. But every year, they have updated population figures for every local government. You know what I talk? Every year, they have updated population figures for every local government. How do they do this? They register every death and every birth daily. As person die, they register them. As person born, they register them daily. So at the end of the month, they add the number of the births to their population figures and they subtract the number of the people who have died. And voila, a new baseline population figure. Now, it's not 100% accurate because it doesn't record people who travel in and out, but at least they have a starting point. What's our starting point? Wait, day. Now, UNICEF has told us the reasons why we're not seeing enough people registering children that they give birth to. Some of those are caused by government and some of them are caused by citizens. So, for example, excuse me, government is supposed to make sure that there is a birth register in every place where people give birth. So, for example, a hospital should have an officer who takes a record whenever a child is born. But most hospitals don't have that person in their hospital on standby 24/7. Instead, the person comes in once in a while, like maybe on immunization day, you know. Who they don't born for yourself. And it's easy to miss babies. Then what about those who don't give birth in hospitals? Most state governments are not keeping track of all the traditional birth attendants who are delivering babies. They're supposed to send birth registrars to them. But it's not happening. But then the people, you have an option. In every local government area, there are government offices where you can go to register your newborn child. Have you gone? How many people go? Many people know that they should register their children, but they decide not to go because what do you gain? Some even say, na beg, na bad idea. Make government no track my pikin. But some also complain when they go to register their children, the officials ask them for money that they cannot pay. And this is supposed to be something that is free. So the whole situation is a really big mess. But back to the big question, have you registered your child's birth? If you haven't, why haven't you? I want to hear your reasons. What did you experience when you tried to go and register the birth of your child? What do you think needs to be done to make it easier to do and to get more people to be more willing to do it? Only 43% of Nigerian children have been registered. How can government plan for those children when government doesn't even know that those people exist? Is there something I'm missing? Maybe there are points that I haven't touched. Maybe there's a point you want to make that I haven't made. Give me a call, 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993, 01277 1993, 2993, 3993, as well as 0993. Now we have WhatsApp as well, so you can send us a WhatsApp message. Send it to 080 959 75 805. 080 959 75 805. Hello.
Yeah, President Sandra.
Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I had my kids at the private hospital.
Okay.
Then I went to the local government. There's this piece of paper, they registering they register them.
Okay.
But I still go to local government. How do they call that department? Where they register birth now.
Mm-hmm.
I still go there to register them and get their birth certificate.
Good.
So I did mine.
Good.
Like you said, in my neighborhood, I know of 2-3 families. Till today, I don't think they did that for their kids. Because they had their baby in a private hospital. So maybe those type of people are the ones they are referring to.
Okay.
Like you said, those they register, waiting they gain. UNICEF have been trying. These people have been trying for us. But we are not following suit. Like in your class now, anybody who didn't do well, because you explain everything into details, how do I put it? You make it clear to us. So anybody who did not catch up these lectures you are giving us, he's on his own. Thank you, President Sandra.
Thank you, Christopher, for calling. Is that lectures? Hello.
Hello?
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
Hello?
Yes, hello. I can hear you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. If you call me and you cannot hear me, just know that we can hear you. So go ahead and quickly make your point, okay? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm Evelyn.
Evelyn, go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you. Just go ahead.
I want to speak on the first
story. Go ahead.
About
go ahead.
Pension.
Yes, go ahead.
Based on the discourse that went on strike. We have agencies that they can report to, which is Ministry of Labor and Employment.
Okay.
Their office is at Ikoyi.
Okay.
But the issue we are having as Minister of Labor and Employment is that some of these companies, when you went there for, when you go there for inspection, they will close their office. They will tell you that their bosses are not around. They will tell you a lot of things too. I don't know why they are scared of Ministry of Labor and
do you work? You work
why
with Ministry
our
of Labor
work
and Employment?
to help them to solve this kind of problem. When you report that, because our work is to see the welfare and the well-being of the workers. When you go there for inspection, we cross-check all these things, whether their pension is being paid, whether their health benefits, their health scheme, that's HMO and all that, if they are complying with it. But when you go to their companies, their offices for inspection, those people you are fighting for will be the ones to close door for you. They will shut you out, ask you to come next time. Another thing is that those people trying to fight for them, nobody is fighting for them. So Nigeria is a mess. I don't know how to put it, but I want to go further. But if I say the other side of the story, you know that even if you fight for them, there is no the penalty they're supposed to pay is still not. So they will keep on doing the same thing again and again. That's the problem. The problem is from federal government. They need to I meant the bill. I mean the. I mean the penalty they're supposed to pay. They have to lift it and create awareness for all these companies to know the benefits of doing these things and the consequences of not doing them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling to share your thoughts. Sorry that we couldn't hear each other. We're having technical difficulties in the studio, and they're going to try and sort that out very soon. Let's quickly take a look at our final story. And yes, when you call, you can talk about any of the other stories. And don't forget that if you call me and I cannot hear you, you cannot hear me, just go ahead and keep talking. I can hear you. More reactions are trailing the State Security Service storming the High Court to rearrest Omoyele Sowore. Business Day reports that the Senate today moved a motion to investigate the incident. The motion was sponsored by Senator Bamidele Opeyemi, representing Ekiti Central. Senators expressed dismay that a courtroom could be invaded since courts are the sanctuary of the judiciary, a branch of government independent of the executive. Speaking of the executive, it may also be launching an investigation into the incident. The Justice Minister and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, told journalists yesterday that the government was concerned about what happened in the court and would be investigating. Malami said this after paying a visit to the Chief Judge of the High Court. Gang, gang, gang. Gang, gang. The matter is getting hotter and hotter. So the legislature has stepped in because if it's true that the SSS invaded a court, it means the executive interfered with the power of the judiciary. That's two arms of government in a clash. And so we now have the third arm of government, the legislature, stepping in to say, we need to investigate this. It should be interesting because the National Assembly has had its own problems with the SSS. You remember? I'm sure everybody has been reminding you over and over about how the SSS barricaded the National Assembly complex under the H Assembly. But this is an interesting test for the National Assembly. We've seen so many people criticize this Ninth Assembly for allegedly being too submissive and deferential to the president and the executive. We even had the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, saying that the Senate is there to push the president's agenda. So right now, we have the SSS allegedly acting in a way that is illegal. Will the Senate stand up and challenge them, or will they wait for instructions from Aso Rock? And what does Aso Rock have to say? Let's remember that the DG of the SSS answers to the president. So if the SSS took action without the president's approval, it is still within his power to reprimand or discipline him. Is he going to do it? Well, we've heard from Malami that there will be a probe, and so we wait. Remember that there's been so many voices criticizing the presidency on this issue. We told you about the editorial by Punch newspaper yesterday, accusing the president of undemocratic behavior. Today, the Nation newspaper has joined in. The Nation is asking why the government was hell-bent on not letting Sowore's Revolution Now protest hold. So in many ways, for many people, the president himself is being asked to prove himself, to prove his democratic credentials. What do you think about this situation? What do you think about the Senate's decision to launch a probe? Is it serious or is it lip service? What about Malami's announcement? Do you agree or disagree that the president has to hold somebody accountable for what happened in the court? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. WhatsApp is available as well. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. Hi Sandra, my employer didn't remit all pensions deducted from my salary plus their own contributions for 37 months. I couldn't demand for it because I was in their employment then. I left the company last year and I served them a letter demanding my unremitted monies. Now they're asking me to come for a meeting to discuss about it. I really don't know what discussion. I told them that there's nothing to discuss other than them paying me my money. And this is a message from Anonymous. Anonymous, very good. Good. Don't go and discuss anything. Don't go and negotiate anything. It's your money. You worked for it. You earned it. Let them pay you. Another person says, I think many people wouldn't go to the local government to register their child's birth year because they will definitely request for money or ask them to buy soft drinks. That is a valid concern, my friend. President Sandra, we don't have light yet, oh. And this is since 6 a.m. yesterday. I'm thinking of visiting the Egbin power plant just minutes away from where I live to help them wake the grid back up. That's a message from Dan in Ikorodu. Dan, thank you so much for sending that message across. Okay, we have more messages coming in via WhatsApp. WhatsApp again is 080 959 75805. Hello. Hello. Don't forget that when you call me, just go ahead and start talking. Whether or not you can hear me, I can hear you. Hello.
Yeah, President Sandra.
Chris, how are you calling back every time?
I want to comment on the Malami case now.
Go ahead.
You know, when this happened, they said, Nigerians were in support. They supported what happened. That it's only the people who are against the government are complaining. But after much cry by the people, they are now making a U-turn to say they want to investigate. Even the National Assembly. The first time, they didn't make any comment. But now they now realize that this thing can come to us. So that is why I thank the acting, the vice president when he was acting, right? The vice president when he was acting president. Similar thing happened in the National Assembly where the DSS go and block their whatever.
I remember. Yes.
And the man had to send those set of people packing, right? So for me, they should have just kept quiet. And let's see what will happen after 3 years. How many years did they have more? The head of that DSS, we'll see what will happen.
Okay.
Thank you, President Sandra.
Thank you for calling me, Christopher. Hello.
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 Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead. Unfortunately, the line is not very clear. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can hear me. I can't hear you, boss.
Yes, just go ahead.
My name is Abolore.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about in the first season about the power audit.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now. Can I go ahead on
yes,
that?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Right. And then when they did not give us light now for a day, who's going to pay for the damage that they are causing us? Because some of us have seen our freezer, they are going spoiled. So are they going to? Is the government going to refund us our money that was falling into our bill? That's the first one. The secondly that I want to talk about is about the birth certificate that you just mentioned. If people have born their baby in general, are they going to have to register their baby in local government again, or is only a private hospital they can register? That's my question for you.
All right, thanks for calling. Now, when you have your baby at any hospital, there's supposed to be somebody there, a registrar, who's actually noting the names of the babies who were born in the hospital. There's supposed to be somebody there. But like I said, a lot of hospitals don't have them. And so so a lot of hospitals don't have them, or those that have those registrars do not have the registrars at the hospital 24/7. So what you have happening is those registrars will come around on immunization day and hope that the babies are there. The babies will come for immunization, and that's when they take the names of the babies, right? So what some parents do is either register on immunization day or take the registration to the local government to go and do. So there are multiple ways to do it. And then you also have traditional birth attendants. If people go to a traditional midwife to go and give birth in a traditional midwife's establishment, there's nobody there to register the birth of that child. But you need to know that it's very important. So if it has not been done, if you just had a baby or you're planning to have a baby and your baby and you don't know what to do about registering the birth of that child, please ask the hospital, where have you registered my Peking birth? They're going to direct you. If the person that is registering is not in the hospital that day, they will tell you when to come and do it. If there's no person employed in the hospital to do that kind of work, they will point you to what local government area to go and register the birth of your child. It's important. Coming up is Eyewitness. Let's talk to a ride-hailing partner, service partner, about the experience of cab drivers who work with services like Bolt, like Uber, about the experiences at the airport with airport taxis and the airport staff itself. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
99.3 Nigeria Info.